Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, the fumble. Here's my thing, and we need to have a conversation about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I know that we both like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We both think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be a good player for the Chiefs. His most iconic moment as a Kansas City Chief, for better or worse, I think it was that fumble so far. Like, that was the biggest moment for him. And unfortunately, it came after a series of not building momentum. Like, the team was sending him out wide in the passing game. He wasn't getting targets. He wasn't a huge factor in the receiving game, wasn't a huge factor running the ball. Like, it was a rough game for him. In one that I really expected him to have like 100 yards, like at least, and like 60-40 or 70-30, whatever rushing receiving. He didn't break out. And he's usually sure-handed with the ball. Like, that's really what gets me is now everyone's going to say, oh, he fumbles in big moments. He's a fumble prone player. He's really not. Like, he takes care of the rock. It just really, really, really sucks that this is when it happened, because that's going to shape the narrative around him even more. People are going to write him off. I feel bad for Clyde. The entire team knows that he's valuable. I saw like Jerick McKinnon needs to be the starting running back take on Twitter. Like, I should have pulled these up. It was insane.
I saw some Darwin Thompson tweets.
Oh my goodness. And we both love Darwin. And I just, man, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I think that it's a overreaction on multiple fronts, but at the same time, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he hasn't stood out. And has he been healthy for the most part? Not necessarily, but it's on the Chiefs for not using him correctly. It's on him for not standing out. It was on the offensive line partially last year. Like, there's so many things that go into it. And on top of that, he was a first-round draft pick.
Yep. I was saying, since he was picked at the end of the first round, there was like, I think 5 running backs that went in the second round before the Chiefs' next pick. So 6. So yeah, it is what it is. If they wanted a running back, they wanted to get their guy there. That's fine. They thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire was their guy. I was more on the DeAndre Swift or J.K. Dobbins bandwagon. Yep. There's articles, there's proof about that when I was writing about pre-draft stuff before that draft. But yeah, he had 11 carries for 50 yards going into that last drive. And I think he finished with 13 carries for 46 yards. So he had negative carries. His last 2 carries, the one had the fumble. Oh, that's just not a good look. And it's sad to say, because like you said, we like Clyde. We want him to do well. We hope he can bounce back. But, man, that's just a rough one tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of rough ones, like I've been trying to take my eye off the football and really watch different like players on different snaps. Creed Humphrey didn't have a great game, like from what I can remember, and the botched snap or whatever was one of those big ones. And then, like, he's a young guy, he's a little rattled. The offensive line wasn't really bad, I don't think. Like, Mahomes did a better job navigating in the pocket, stepping up, making plays. He looked more comfortable. Lucas Niang, I think, got beat on one play that stood out that they showed on replay. Like, I obviously have to look back and watch everything more, but that was like the Chiefs had these back-breaking plays where like they'd have a penalty and then they'd be 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 13 because they lost 3 yards on first down, and they kept trying to, in the second half specifically, run the ball on first down, and it just was not working. I get the whole Andy Reid took the ball out of his best player's hands. I kind of understand that, but if Clyde runs the ball and doesn't fumble, the Chiefs probably set themselves up for a field goal or score. Like, they weren't going to be stopped there, I don't think, which is even more like damning that he did fumble the ball. But overall, Humphrey wasn't horrible, like from what I can remember, but that high snap definitely stood out to me. And I think that that's one of the growing pains that comes with a young center.